40,000 years ago, humans were living well. Summers were warm. Herds were nearby. The winters were cold but short. Then the winters started lasting longer. The herds moved further south and stopped coming back. Rivers shrank. Familiar plants disappeared. It happened over thousands of years, not days. The world did not collapse. It just slowly became harder. By the time it peaked, ice sheets 3 kilometers thick covered what is now London, Chicago, and most of northern Europe. The oceans dropped 120 meters because so much water had frozen into ice on land. Some estimates suggest the entire human population may have dropped to just a few thousand people. Humans had no fur, no thick hide, and no claws built for cold. So how did they survive the Ice Age? At Mezhyrich in Ukraine, Ice Age people built houses out of mammoth bones. Scientists have dated one of these structures to roughly 18,000 years ago. Mammoth skulls formed the base, and jaws, tusks, and ribs were stacked into walls, probably covered with animal hides. Inside, people cut flint into tools and prepared animal skins for use. These were not shelters people stumbled into for a night. They were workshops. The mammoth, in death, became architecture. But the mammoth was more than a building. It was a complete survival system. Its meat provided protein, but fat was what kept people alive. Lean meat could fill the stomach, but without enough fat, the body does not have enough energy to stay warm. Bone marrow, the soft, fatty tissue inside long bones, was rich in energy and could be stored and cracked open later, almost like a natural sealed food container. Ancient humans did not just kill and eat. They planned, they stored, and they understood which parts of an animal were most valuable and came back for them. The same logic shaped clothing. A hide thrown over the shoulders holds some warmth, but a fitted garment with sleeves, leggings, and sealed seams traps warm air against the skin. In temperatures below -40 degrees, that difference is whether you survive the night. That difference came down to one tool, the eyed sewing needle, a small bone tool with a hole to thread sinew through. These were not decorative objects, they were life-saving tools. In caves in Oregon, archaeologists found stitched elk hide and bone needles about 12,000 years old, showing this technology was widespread long before the ice retreated. Not everyone ate the same way. Some groups depended almost entirely on megafauna, large animals like mammoths and ancient bison. Scientists analyzed bones from an ancient burial in Montana and found the mother had eaten roughly 96% large animals, with mammoth making up about 40% of her diet alone. But that was not the only way. Grinding stones found in Russia, Italy, and the Czech Republic, about 30,000 years old, still carry traces of starch from roots, cattails, and ferns. Ice Age people were grinding plants into flour during one of the coldest periods in human history. The human brain needs carbohydrates to function. Some Ice Age groups made sure to get them. Others avoided the deep cold entirely. At Waterfall Bluff in South Africa, communities lived on shellfish, fish, and coastal plants through the coldest peak of the Ice Age. They never had to fight the inland ice at all. Survival was not one strategy, it was whatever the local environment allowed. But above all of these tools, there was something that left almost no physical trace: knowledge. A spear can kill one animal, but knowing where herds move in winter, which bones hold the most fat, how to cut a hide so the seams do not leak, which coast stays warm enough to forage through the cold months, that knowledge could keep an entire group alive. It had to be taught, remembered, and passed from one mind to the next across decades. The Ice Age did not select for the strongest humans. It selected for the ones who could turn a dead mammoth into a house, a hide into insulation, a bone into a food container, and everything they knew into something the next generation could use. We did not survive the Ice Age. We processed it.